Welcome to Global Sky Update. Please subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon for more updates. I bet you didn't know just how much the Philippines' decision to cancel a $5.5 billion US fighter jet deal would shake the world. The news broke quietly, almost like a whisper in the wind, yet its impact was nothing short of seismic. The Philippines had abruptly canceled a $5.5 billion deal for a squadron of America's F-16 fighter jets, a decision that sent shockwaves through diplomatic and military circles. This deal was not just a transaction, it was a symbol of the Philippines' military modernization and a testament to its long-standing alliance with the United States. With a single announcement, what was once the centerpiece of this relationship vanished into thin air. The F-16s were more than just aircraft. They represented a strategic partnership, a shared vision of security and cooperation. But now, that vision was clouded by uncertainty. Inside the historic walls of Malacañang Palace, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. and his advisors faced a daunting decision. They weighed the staggering costs of the jets against the nation's pressing needs, deliberating over what truly mattered for the country's future. The verdict was clear. The F-16s, as impressive and powerful as they were, had become a luxury that the country could no longer justify. The financial burden was too great, and the priorities had shifted. In Washington, the response was measured, yet the disappointment was palpable. Behind closed doors, U.S. officials scrambled to assess the strategic fallout, pondering the implications for regional security and their alliance with the Philippines. The jets were intended to serve as a deterrent against China in the contested South China Sea, a visible sign of U.S.-Philippine unity and strength. Now, that deterrent was gone, leaving a significant void in the region's security landscape. The absence of these jets created a palpable tension, a sense of vulnerability that rippled through the region, raising questions about future security dynamics. On the bustling streets of Manila, the reaction was mixed. Some citizens felt a sense of relief, while others took pride in the decision. It was a moment of national introspection. A fish vendor captured the sentiment of many when he said, "Fighter jets can't feed our families. We need better boats, not planes we can't fly." His words resonated with the everyday struggles of ordinary Filipinos. The government echoed this sentiment, framing the move as a bold step toward a more practical, self-reliant defense strategy. It was a decision rooted in pragmatism and foresight. The decision was not about weakness or retreat, but about prioritizing the nation's real needs, focusing on economic stability, infrastructure, and the well-being of its people. It was a dramatic shift in policy, one that would ripple far beyond the Philippines, challenging traditional notions of security and alliance. The cancellation forced a national reckoning, prompting a deeper conversation about what truly makes a country secure. It was a moment of reflection and reevaluation. For the Philippines, the answer was clear. True security begins with economic stability and the well-being of its people, ensuring that every citizen can thrive. The world watched closely as Manila charted a new, unexpected course, redefining its path and priorities in a rapidly changing global landscape. The F-16 deal was the largest defense purchase in Philippine history, a landmark agreement that captured headlines and ignited both hope and debate across the nation. The contract included 12 state-of-the-art Viper jets, each equipped with advanced missiles, precision-guided bombs, and a comprehensive training package for pilots and ground crew. These jets promised to transform the Philippine Air Force, giving it a credible multi-role capability for the first time in its history, and inspiring a new generation of aviators. For years, military planners saw the F-16s as the answer to defending the country's vast maritime claims, projecting power over the West Philippine Sea and deterring regional threats from rival nations. The deal was also about deepening ties with the U.S., ensuring interoperability, joint readiness, and access to shared intelligence and technology. But the dream came with a heavy price, one that went far beyond the initial $5.5 billion sticker shock, raising questions about long-term affordability. The real cost was decades of maintenance, upgrades, spare parts, and ongoing training, all denominated in US dollars, making the commitment even more daunting for a developing nation. The abrupt cancellation unraveled years of negotiations, shocked defense analysts, and upended the Pentagon's Indo-Pacific strategy, forcing both sides to rethink their security plans. Manila's official line was simple: budget constraints and competing priorities, as leaders faced mounting pressure to address domestic needs. The decision wasn't just about money, It was about facing the hard truth of what the country could realistically sustain, balancing defense ambitions with economic stability. The vision of F-16s soaring over the West Philippine Sea collided with economic reality, as dreams of air superiority met the limits of national resources. The Philippines was forced to reassess its path, choosing sustainability and practicality over prestige, and focusing on more affordable defense solutions. The era of big-ticket defense deals was over, at least for now, as the nation looked inward and prepared for a different kind of future. The real driver behind the reversal was financial survival. A leaked report revealed the F-16s would cost up to $10 billion more over 30 years, money the Philippines simply didn't have. Every dollar spent on jets meant less for schools, hospitals, and infrastructure. Economic planners warned that the deal could destabilize the country's finances, especially with the peso's vulnerability to the dollar. The government chose fiscal prudence, learning from other nations that struggled to maintain advanced Western hardware. The lesson: owning sophisticated jets is meaningless if you can't afford to fly or fix them. The decision was a pragmatic admission that ambition must match capacity. The Philippines opted for economic resilience over military showmanship. It was a painful but necessary choice, one that put the nation's future ahead of fleeting prestige. Security, they decided, starts with a strong, stable economy. Canceling the F-16s marked a shift in defense philosophy. The Philippines is moving from prestige assets to practical, asymmetric defense, what works for an archipelago, not a superpower. The focus now: maritime domain awareness, coastal defense, and persistent presence at sea. Fast patrol boats, anti-ship missiles, drones, and radar networks are replacing high-flying jets. The goal isn't to win a conventional war, but to make any aggression costly and difficult. The new doctrine is about defending the nation's waters every day, not just making headlines. The cancellation sent tremors through the U.S.-Philippine alliance, raising questions about the future of a partnership that has shaped regional security for decades. For Washington, the F-16s were more than just advanced aircraft. They represented a symbol of renewed partnership, trust, and shared strategic interests in the Asia-Pacific. For Manila, however, the decision was about asserting sovereignty and ensuring national survival in a rapidly changing security environment. The alliance is evolving, no longer a simple patron-client relationship, but a partnership where both sides bring distinct priorities and expectations to the table. The Mutual Defense Treaty and joint military exercises remain pillars of cooperation, but future collaboration will increasingly focus on what the Philippines truly needs to defend itself. Expect to see more U.S. support for maritime surveillance, intelligence sharing, and counter-terrorism operations, as well as investments in coastal defense systems and technology, not just big-ticket fighter jets. For Manila, it's a delicate balancing act, asserting independence and self-reliance, while not alienating its most powerful and long-standing ally. Diplomats from both sides are working overtime to reassure Washington that this is a practical, not political move, one aimed at strengthening, not weakening, the alliance. The challenge ahead is clear: maintain robust U.S. support while building a more self-reliant and capable Philippine defense force. The alliance must adapt to new realities and regional threats, or risk becoming irrelevant in a rapidly changing Indo-Pacific region. The Philippines is determined to chart its own course, strengthening its defenses and partnerships, but it is not turning its back on old friends. The future of the alliance will depend on flexibility, mutual respect, and a shared vision for regional stability. In Beijing, the canceled deal was quietly celebrated. Without F-16s, China faces less resistance in the South China Sea, and U.S. influence appears to wane. The move may embolden China's outreach to Manila, offering economic incentives over security ties. Southeast Asian neighbors are watching closely, some with concern, others with interest. The F-16s were seen as a regional asset. Their absence could weaken ASEAN's collective stance. Yet the decision also highlights the need for sustainable, self-reliant defense strategies across the region. The Philippines' bold move may inspire others to rethink how they balance security and economic realities. The F-16 cancellation is fueling a new ambition: the Self-Reliant Defense Posture, or SRDP. Instead of buying expensive imports, the Philippines is investing in its own defense industry. Local firms are building patrol boats, rifles, and drones, tailored for the country's needs and budget. The billions saved are being redirected to create jobs, foster innovation, and reduce foreign dependency. Early successes are visible: new ships for the Navy, locally made equipment for the army. It's about strategic autonomy and national pride, building capacity at home, not just buying it abroad. The goal, enter partnerships from a position of strength, not dependency. The F-16 decision is a declaration. The Philippines will take charge of its own defense future. With the F-16s gone, the defense shopping list has changed. The focus is now on affordable, versatile assets, more light combat jets like the F-A-50 or Gripen, and a fleet that can be deployed across the islands. Unmanned drones and shore-based anti-ship missiles are top priorities, providing persistent surveillance and deterrence at a fraction of the cost. The Navy and Coast Guard are getting more patrol vessels and fast interceptors to secure the nation's waters. The strategy: a layered, responsive maritime force that can see, react, and raise the cost of any aggression. The Philippines is signaling to arms suppliers, value and sustainability matter more than prestige. It's a new era of practical procurement, one that fits the country's real needs. Rejecting the F-16 deal is a turning point, a bold step toward true independence. It's not anti-Americanism, but a declaration of self-reliance and maturity. The Philippines is choosing economic flexibility and national well-being over costly prestige. This decision is a blueprint for other nations. Security must be sustainable, not just impressive. The world is watching as Manila forges a new path, one rooted in resilience, innovation, and Filipino pride. The journey won't be easy, but the commitment is clear. The future of Philippine security will be built at home, by its own people. A new era has dawned, defined by independence, resilience, and the Filipino way forward.